Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. I managed to get Anand in. And not only am I wearing a white t-shirt, Venkatesan, I've managed my brother also to put on a white shirt for you. So we're both in white. So I hope you're happy, Venkatesan, that I got Anand also in white today just for you. That being said, in all seriousness, getting back to the topic, I wanted to address this notion of why is there wealth inequality in this K-shaped recovery Anand keeps on talking about. What led to this? Why do we have such a huge dumbbell-shaped society where we have very poor at one end, a lot, and then we have a very rich, and this whole middle class has been stretched into a thin band? And what led to this? It wasn't like this when my father was young in the 1940s and the 50s and the 60s. India was very different. The world was very different. The American middle class was very large and it was very different. What happened in the 1960s, 70s, and the 80s, which led to where we are today, is what I wanted to talk about. It's a bit of a history lesson. Some of you might be wondering, why are you giving a history lesson? Because I'm a beginner, and some of us are beginners who watch this video. So I thought Anand, being a great teacher, can help us understand this. So if you are someone who's an expert in the subject, you might find this a little boring, but I hope you do find it entertaining, since me and Anand tend to be entertaining when we do catch up together. That being said, Anand, so where did it all start, man?
It starts in the late 90s, actually. Till then, the American middle class is very strong. And the world there's a strong middle class,
Correct.
big middle class, which is now vanishing
Yes, rapidly.
Now, where either you are extremely wealthy and or you are extremely poor. There is a middle class, but who fancy themselves middle class, they are not actually middle class. Like somebody who makes 2 lakhs a month, husband and wife put together, no way they are middle class. They are in the top 1% of India.
Yes, for a long time you considered ourselves as middle class.
So
I keep saying, no, we are not.
No, my attitude is middle class.
Yes.
My mental makeup is middle class.
It's like
I'm not
the
middle.
famous line from Chris Rock, from his comedy show, where he'll say, people tell him that you're very wealthy. He says, yes, I may be very wealthy, but I choose to think poor.
Yeah. Anyway, so the most of people around me are very wealthy, though they would say they are middle class. And they crib about paying taxes. So what it is, so most of people say, you are a middle class if you are between 20 and 40,000 rupees a family. You need actually ration support. At somebody at 40,000, about 2 decades back, wouldn't have needed ration support.
Yes.
What is the reason is very clear, is the change that took place in America. In 1980, it was very clear that the interest rates were 22%. Banks were lending to each other at 22%. All religions, especially the Jewish and Christianity for a long time, and the Islam religion, considers interest as haram.
That's sin. Sinful to ask for the interest.
Yeah. But that is not practical.
Even Jesus famously threw the bankers out of, the lenders out of the temple.
But it doesn't work like that, because money is actually a storehouse of labor. I worked more than what I need, and therefore that is stored as value of money. And therefore, I am lending that value for a time, and I have to get something in return. Because money is not a medium of exchange, as those religions thought. Money is also a storehouse of labor. So what happened in 1980, from there interest rates started to decline. When interest rate starts to decline, bankers have to take extra risks to make profits.
Because investors still wanted to be paid dividends.
Returns have to be higher. Till then, bankers worked for only salary and basically from 9 to 3 and played golf from 3 to 6.
Correct.
Now, basically what happened is they started making loans. The first big crisis was the crisis of lending to Mexico and other developing nations. Even India had a problem with that. You had taken loans from commercial banks and we could not generate enough forex to pay for it. But the most famous debtor nation was, of course, Mexico. Today you have Argentina and other countries.
Yes.
Manmohan Singh saved us from that. Anyway, that is how it started. In 2000, there was a debt crisis. That is, there was a big crisis because the dot-com bubble burst. And interest rates were brought to near zero by a man called Alan Greenspan. Now, From there on, interest rates have been very low, going up to 5-6% and then bringing it back to zero. So you could say from 2000 to 2023 now, we have had an era of very low interest rates.
So banks find it very hard to make profits.
Everybody finds it hard because even pension, I cannot give you, people are living longer. I was getting less return for the money I was investing. So I could not meet my pension guarantees. So pension funds were forced to take bigger risks.
Yes, more exotic.
More exotic products. Banks had to make exotic products.
Yes, the CDOs and CDOs and
all these
swaps.
nonsense came from basically low interest rates.
Okay.
The argument for the poor, the argument of the religious and the extreme left-leaning people, is that when interest rate is zero, everybody gets money, and therefore everybody prospers. But unfortunately, what happens even at zero interest rate, Uncle Warren and his friends get at 0% interest rate, whereas the poor don't get it at 0% interest rate at all, because the banker wants his money back.
Yes.
So he wants security.
Correct.
So the poor do not have any hard assets to give security, while the rich have a lot of security to give. That's how this private equity started. I could take my money and go and, if I have about 100 crores in stock, which I don't unfortunately, I can go and give 20 crores to the bank, ask for 75% of that money, 7.5 crores at 0% interest rate, and give it to a private equity player
And say
who will play it. And since everything is zero, yet that company like Byju's is rated at $22 billion. So they play passing parcel among themselves.
say
The rich,
Pankata, whatever you call it.
they play with the musical chair between themselves. And it's a private club. And they keep wealthy, get richer and richer and richer.
Wow.
And also you can pledge your gold, take it and put it in the stock market at the right time. And if you have the cash, the whole thing is, when push comes to shove, when the margin comes, you should be able to pony up the cash. The rich can do it. And the most famous example, forget the reckless, the most intelligent use of it was Warren Buffett now. He went to Tokyo. He didn't even go to Tokyo. He just picked up and talked to a Japanese banker and said, Warren speaking. So the Japanese said, please sir, what can we do for you? He says, I would like to borrow some money. Sir, for you, no terms. Sir, no security. How much? He said, give me 5 billion. He said 0.18, sir, per year. He said, done. 20 years. No reset of rates. Yes, sir. He takes that 5 billion, puts a billion each in 5 of the Zaibustus, big Japanese culprits. I don't know the exact number he put. And it goes up by 40-50%. Then he puts some cash and buys more. Now, the dividend yield on this is 8%. Now, he's built up a position of 9.9% in all these companies. The dividend yield on the loan is 9.5%. He is going to pay 0.1%. If he just diverts the dividend, in 10 years, he has finished the loan. Now, Warren can do that deal. If Joe the plumber goes to the bank
And tells
please give me that
bank manager on the phone, who won't even come on the phone.
He won't even come on the phone. So he has to go crawl, beg and
So you're basically saying, because of the lowering of interest, banks being choked,
yes.
to think of more innovative way for pension funds and everybody to create profits.
Yes.
They created products like this, sucking up whatever wealth which was there in the pools of below and setting it up top, because it facilitated people like Warren.
Because I have to lend money. I don't want to lend to a poor fellow. Anyway, I'm not getting interest.
But
And
this
I
sounds like
don't
an
know-
argument of a leftist, no?
No, it is
The
not.
bankers were at fault.
No, it is not the bankers at fault. 0% interest rate is at fault.
That's what I wanted to tell the audience.
Because you value.
It's not the bankers who are at fault here.
They are not valuing the labor.
Correct.
Currency,
Society per se.
currency as a unit of labor. Right? Currency as a unit of labor, you are not valuing it. And you expect the banker to lend to everybody. But he is responsible to collect the money. So why will I lend to somebody who has no security? If given a choice at 0% interest rate, will you lend to your driver or will you lend to Warren Buffett? Very famously, when Air India got taken over, Ratan Tata wanted 18,000 crores. and he started borrowed 18,000 crores. He picked up, and every banker rushed to him because it was post-COVID and everybody wanted credit. The moment everybody said the Tatas are borrowing at 18,000 crores, so they rushed to him, and he said, "Okay, I am putting out a tender. All of you tell me what is the rate at which you will lend to me." So Bank of Baroda and some other
That's a lovely position to be in.
some people put a tender, and guess what? How much he got it? 4%.
Wow.
And
I wish that was like that for our viewers. Whenever they needed to buy a home loan, bankers will call them and say,
Government of India was borrowing at 6%. Okay. Now, who can buy an airline which is making a loss of 10,000 crores per year for 18,000 crores funded at 4%?
Not me.
And now what he has done this current year, he has written off and he's increased the losses. Turnover has doubled. But past losses have all been written off. He's written off everything and said 11,000 crores loss. In that 11,000 crores loss, 6,200 crores is write-offs. Right? So he's actually lost only 5. Next year he'll become profitable.
Yeah, but it's the same flip of it. We got all these youngsters who applied for TCS who did not get placement. They're all very upset saying...
Wait, listen to me. So at the end of the day, so the rich who have already got hard assets, we have 0% interest rate.
Correct.
Money is chasing assets. When interest rates are 0, there is no gravity.
Yes.
When you have no gravity, even you hop, you jump, just jump, you'll
like
go.
Walking on the moon.
You're walking on the moon.
Yes, like I weigh like 2 kilos on the
moon.
Yeah.
So the asset prices have gone all up north.
Yes.
30 times, 40 times earnings is normal. And even companies which are never going to make profits are very well, like our good friend Byju's is valued at $23 billion. These are there across the country. Uber is still yet
So
to
people
make.
like him are sucking up the wealth. Huh?
So basically what has happened is the stimulative economy has made stimulative by the central bank has made sure the rich will keep getting richer because he has had assets.
Unfortunately, all the people who are getting rich who are getting richer are not Tata and Warren Buffett. There are people like Byju's, majority of them. Like
Byju's will be
Vijay
bankrupt.
Mallya, like Anil Ambani.
No. See, Byju's is bankrupt. He is not going to get anything. They will suck out everything out of him. In case of Vijay Mallya, he borrowed too much and he didn't have the cash flow to pay. Now, he also got, he was a beneficiary of this low interest regime.
Yes.
Anil Ambani was the beneficiary of low interest. But Uncle Warren has other cash flow to pay.
Yes.
Mr. Tata owns 75% of
TCS.
He owns 40% of Tata Motors. He owns 40% of
Indian Hotels.
Not Indian Hotels. I'm talking Tata Steel. He has 50 companies which are spewing cash flow. For a long time, 90% of his cash was coming from TCS. And he kept quiet. Right? And now in a month, in a quarter, he can generate 20,000 crores of free cash flow.
Yes,
so he has to borrow
Tata Chemicals. Yeah.
So he has to pay only 18,000 crores. Air India goes kaput. This man is going to settle his debt. Imagine, a lot of people forget that Tata's had a big telecom company which went bankrupt. That is
Tata Docomo.
Tata Docomo. They couldn't do business. He's the only one who settled all the bank loans.
Yes.
And handed over the customers to Airtel and said, please go enjoy.
So,
the bankers lend money only because these guys will pay up.
Correct.
Even if they don't have.
But then why did they lend to people like Vijay Mallya and Anil Ambani?
Vijay Mallya, everybody thought that the breweries are worth a lot. Vijay Mallya didn't become bankrupt overnight. Vijay Mallya had first had one set of companies he sold. That is Berger Paints. Okay? Cadbury's India. Hest India. Then,
all his father's crown jewels.
Yeah.
One by one.
Wait. Kisan Jams. Kisan.
Like watching a little boy sit with the crown. With a knife.
Then that Kisan ketchup.
Yes.
Then he had Dippy sauce. He had 5 crown jewels. He washed it first and settled all dues. Then he was only running a liquor company. He wanted to become the biggest liquor player. He didn't learn his lessons. He borrowed again and bought White and Mackay. After he was already over-leveraged on his liquor, he should have shut up and he would have got out of it. Then he decided to borrow more and set up this airline.
Then buy Air Deccan.
Then he bought Air Deccan. And then crude had to go to 140 for this network to collapse.
So, okay, let me ask this question then. So, let's say all this is thanks to lower interest rate. Let's say if interest rates
Zero.
yeah,
Not
zero.
low.
Yeah,
Zero.
Let's say historically we are able to rewind the clock, and we imagine a world where interest rate never reached zero. It stayed lowest it ever came to maybe 3 or 4%, and was hovering at between 3 and 5.
Between 4 and 6.
Yeah, it was hovering. Would the world be very different today?
Yes.
Would the middle class be looking very different?
Yes. Because you never see, economy is not science. Where I can perfectly draw an equation and say this is the answer. But you're reduced to just science. And since you're electing governments who don't want recessions, see, if you have a big boom, you should also have a recession.
Correct. It's normal.
It's a use. It's
like after you run a marathon,
if you are
you take a break.
engineers,
Yeah.
you have a sine wave.
Yeah.
What goes up comes down.
Yes.
Now, what your central bankers are trying to do is, you like the going up. The moment it tries to come down, you want to make interest rate zero and keep it up all the time.
Correct. It's not taking a break between your sets and exercising.
Yeah.
You don't allow recovery to happen.
You never allow it to fall. And so what will happen? You keep on printing more and more
You
money.
finally have a heart attack.
So you finally keep, in this crisis itself, if they had not bailed out Silicon Valley, and all the guys who had deposits in Silicon Valley were fat cats.
Yes.
They were not cheap
They're
beggars.
not poor. They're not Joe the plumber.
They're not Joe the plumber. So you had Silicon Bank and First President, both wealthy dogs who wanted higher interest rates. They took the risk and put it in uninsured deposits. If you had allowed them to go belly up, the market would have corrected. The crisis was over. You don't have to push up interest rates. Jerome Powell tried to save the system. Right? He said no crisis. He's kicked the can down.
Correct.
So every time you get a crisis, you want to save the world. And you don't allow recession to happen. So you think you are very smart. Then you keep, the crisis keeps on, because then you are telling Warren and the private guys, come on guys, I have your back, do whatever you want. Keep gambling. Here is the dice. I keep giving you monopoly money. You keep on rolling the dice. Don't do what Vijay Mallya did, but you can definitely do what Japan did. So he keeps on rolling the dice. He's bought a railway. He's bought the entire insurance company. He's got an energy empire.
I just hope Vijay Mallya doesn't take over after Warren leaves.
No. What I'm trying to say is zero debt.
I know.
That is,
But
he
Vijay
has
Mallaya's
more.
father was a great man, no?
Yes, Vittal Mallya. So $150 billion in cash, some $20 billion outstanding in banks, in bonds. The man can pay it overnight.
Yes, but imagine someone like Vijay Mallya comes so.
And what I'm trying to tell you is, debt is dangerous
Agreed.
if you don't know how to service it.
But I have a question. Most of our viewers, including me, have not lived in an environment where we have had this kind of high interest rate. So
Even I am not. I was just 30.
I agree. But you are more studied in this subject than any of us are, and you have a more nuanced approach to it. So let's assume this current interest rate environment we're in is going to stay for quite a long time, right? Stays for the foreseeable future. How do you see the landscape of business and in the world economy, and what's going to be so different in our world now?
See, but there is no sign of it slowing down. America is growing at 4.9% a year.
Yeah.
So let it slow down first.
Okay.
The rich are saying it's already slowed down because they want to go back to party. They are addicted to dopamine.
Yes.
So he's
are
saying,
addicted to
come on.
free cash, yes.
Yeah. So he's saying, come on, let's have some free cash. But the way it is going, there is no. Okay. Now the long yields have 10 and 30-year yields have tightened.
Yes.
So what it means is he doesn't have to raise increase this time. But with oil and going up,
And the Israel-Hamas Middle East conflict.
the Middle East conflict, and with auto workers getting a great deal, wage inflation is going to come next year.
Yes.
So 2% inflation is not going to be easy.
True.
So I don't see cuts coming anytime. And if cuts don't come, in 20 by 25 big cuts, commercial real estate is in serious trouble.
Yes. Munger and Warren have spoken about that.
Yeah. We are just 60 days to Warren's birthday, to Munger's 100th birthday.
Great. So that is a nice note to end this video on. I hope you found this video informative and entertaining as always. It was nice to pull Anand into this video, and both of us did wear our white shirts for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. and found it informative and entertaining as always. Do subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification, do share this with your friends and family who would find this content interesting and informative again. Thank you for being with us on Be Rich.
Okay. Those who are desirous of meeting me can meet me in Kuwait on the 24th of November, the last Friday of November. After a successful meeting in Hyderabad, my team wanted to do an event in the Gulf again. It has been decided to do it in Kuwait, and hence I am there on the 24th of November, the Friday. Thank you. It's a great privilege and honor that so many of you in thousands have subscribed to my channel and have supported me. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.